part 2 of your hand-built slab textured mug that we did, we need to trim the foot. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this beveled edge right here that we're going to trim off, and then we're also going to do a modified handle, which is kind of a pulled and slab rolled type of handle. So we're going to start by trimming the foot. And remember, if you remember right, we connected them on and sealed them on here. So you're now going to go in and you're going to trim it at an angle to where your hand is at an angle the whole time. And you're going to trim it to where it's the same the whole way around. You're going to keep that angle and you're just going to trim it. And this is going to create that beveled edge. What you're doing is you're trimming it into the foot. You stuck it down on the edge, so you're trimming far enough away to where it's not stuck where you're coming to, but you're creating a nice beveled edge. You go all the way to the edge. This should, since it's kind of leather hard, should slowly pop off and give you that nice edge. Now this will be a little soft right now, so you kind of be careful with it. We'll let it kind of dry a little bit as we do our handle, but that's the foot. So you'll go ahead and clean this off, because we'll kind of need this to have our thing on as we're putting our handle on it. So we're going to move this out of the way for right now while we'll do our handle. And your handle is just, you're going to roll out a piece of clay, and I've already done this, but I rolled it out double the thickness. So this is 2 times the thickness of what our mugs were. So I put these down, I rolled it out like this. You're going to want to have it be the shape of kind of like a carrot. So you're going to cut it at an angle like this and like this, so it kind of goes in a little bit. Then you're going to mark a center line. And all we're doing here is we're marking this part of the handle that your hand kind of forms to, this middle mark. Then we're going to just pull it a little bit with some water to kind of soften out the edges. So you just get your hands wet and you kind of just pull it a little bit. You're just softening out those edges and pulling down. And you're just making it long enough to where it's going to fit your mug. And then you should have a nice handle. See how that works? Maybe it needs to be a little bit longer. Okay. Then you're going to have basically a handle. So you're going to set this down. Move it out of the way. And get back to your mug. You want to put your handle not on your seam because it's going to be very thick there. So find a spot that maybe you made a mess up on. I usually maybe set it a little aside from where my seam is. So I'm going to put mine right here. So you're going to set it down. You're going to take your handle, and this part here, you can pinch it off to where it's not very thick, because you're going to want to be able to set it like this. I'm going to move this up so you can see a little bit better. So, kind of place it where you want it to go. Where you're connecting it, you're going to score it. Score the edge. Wherever you connect, you score. Score the edge here. Score the edge here. Add some slip. And I always add a little bit more here because you're going to want it to kind of go over. and you're going to connect. And really smooth that out and connect it in. Now, before you've connected that bottom piece, you can go in with the nice sponge and smooth it out and get it nice. Take care of your craftsmanship. Okay, then see how that looks. You've taken care of it. It's nice and smooth. You got some good seams there. Then we're ready for the next step. You gotta do the same thing on the bottom. You gotta look at it, make sure you have the shape you want. Then you're gonna connect it down here. You're gonna pinch it thin, and you may have to make it a little shorter depending on how you want it to be. You're gonna mark it, look at it, make sure it's straight, decide where it's gonna be, and you're gonna slip and score again. Again, take a sponge if you need to, smooth out that area, get it connected nicely. If you've messed up your handle a little bit, smooth it out. Adjust your connection a little bit here. It might goober out a little bit. You want this to happen, and then when it dries a little bit, once it dries just a little bit, you can go in with a brush and smooth that out so it has a nice little seam to it and blend it in. You can also use like a sponge. Now, if it starts to fall, you can take a dry sponge, tuck it underneath here, and kind of hold up your handle until it dries a little bit better. But here's where you need to kind of look. Make sure you've got all your seams looking nice and neat. You would also, at this step, go back in with the wet sponge, smooth out this. It's going to be really sharp until you smooth that out. So smooth out that edge. And also on the top, if there's any rough edges, you're going to want to take care of that too. Make sure those are nice and neat, because if they're hard at all, it's going to be rough on your mouth. And take care of your top, any edges, take care of this. This is craftsmanship. Last step, clean it up. Make sure it looks nice and neat. Shape is how you want it. All your seams are good. Then, like I said, if it's starting to fall a little bit, you can prop it up with the sponge. Check it all the way around. Then put it to dry. Make sure you put your name on the bottom. Check the inside. Looks good. That's how you finish them up.